What is up, guys? Wrestling Premiere is here. Now, personally, I feel like this match was better than the WrestleMania 22 bout. Sure, the atmosphere was better for WrestleMania, but if I had to give you the blueprint for a spectacular WWE main event, it would be this match. Was it the best match of 2008? No, but that doesn't discredit the performance these two put on. Obviously, Triple H is seen as a tryhard, winning those epic WWE matches, but this one was good. It was very good, okay. As you all know, this is a video on the entire Night of Champions pay-per-view. Night of Champions was a pay-per-view where every title must be defended, and at this point, there wasn't a non-title match featured on the pay-per-view. From the Women's Championship all the way to the ECW Championship, no title is exempt. Okay. Night of Champions 2008 was held in the American Airlines Center in Dallas, Texas on June 29, 2008. 16,151 were in attendance for this one. The buy rate for the event was 273,000, which was higher than the 243,000 that Vengeance Night of Champions received the previous year. The theme song for the event was Devour, Devour by Shinedown. You might have known it from Rock Band or, from my experience, Madden 09. The commentators for this one, on the SmackDown side, were Jim Ross and Mick Foley. The Raw side featured Michael Cole and Jerry the King Lawler, and ECW featured Mike Adamle and Taz. Right now, let's get into it. The first match was for the WWE Tag Team Championships. The Miz and John Morrison defended the titles against Finlay and Hornswoggle. I don't know why they had Hornswoggle in there, but whatever. The Miz and Morrison were starting to come into their own, especially Miz, and they were the breakout tag team in 2008. Okay, Finlay and Morrison started this one off. John got thrown around for a bit before Miz used Hornswoggle as bait. This worked out for him, and they decided to grab Finlay's son. They threw him in there, and he proceeded to take off his jacket and deliver well, he didn't deliver anything. He messed around as Finlay was starting to recover. Once he did, he clotheslined both men, and Morrison bounced back with a dropkick, and the duo worked as a cohesive unit, hitting double teams and isolating Finlay. It didn't matter if he tagged in Hornswoggle, because in their eyes, he's nothing. He tagged himself in, and he hit a tilt-a-whirl, a stunner, and a bulldog. Morrison thwarted Hornswoggle's attack, and the Miz cornered him. The duo bounced him around for a bit, and he tried fighting back, but he ran straight to a clothesline. John Morrison made a mistake, and this led to Finlay getting tagged in. He had a bunch of moves on Morrison, and he hit the Celtic Cross. Hornswoggle then tried to perform the tadpole splash, and just as Hornswoggle went up to the top rope, Miz got involved, and this gave John enough time to grab Hornswoggle and slam him right down on the mat to retain the title. Not bad. I didn't have much expectations for this one, but freaking Hornswoggle, yeah, decent match. They managed to make the crowd get invested in it, and for that, I'd say it wasn't bad. It was decent. The next match was for the WWE United States Championship. Chavo Guerrero challenged Matt Hardy for the title. Now, this was when Matt finally got to enjoy a singles title run. It was his first in nearly 5 years, and it was his first time holding the U.S. title. Matt was on ECW at this point, while Chavo was on SmackDown. Winner brings the title to their respective brand. In the beginning, Chavo targeted Matt's leg, and realizing Matt suffered a knee injury about a year ago, he exploited that left knee. Hardy tried fighting back. He had a bulldog, but he was limited in what he was able to hit. He relied on clotheslines and elbows at the moment. He couldn't utilize his full offense. Yeah, sure, he did hit the side effect, but Chavo kicked out. He took a risk by elbowing Chavo from the top rope, but it didn't get him the win. Chavo, though, made Matt pay by locking him in a half crab. Despite escaping, Matt found himself in the same situation several seconds later. Chavo then tried the Three Amigos, and he did get the brace, but the hat trick wouldn't be, as Matt hit one of his most sudden twist of fates, and he was victorious. Once again, not bad. I liked how Matt sold the leg. I liked the storytelling, and I personally believe if this was longer, then it would have been a great match. The next match was for the ECW Championship. Kane defends the title against Big Show and Mark Henry in a triple threat match. 3 big men in the ring on pay-per-view. Let me simply describe this to you. Big men brawling. Kane was hitting DDTs. Henry and Big Show were testing each other's strength. Big Show body slammed Henry. Seemed like Kane suffered an injury. I don't know what that was. They clotheslined each other. Kane finally returned. Big Show and Kane reunited for 5 seconds. They fought for 120 seconds. Big Show hit an Olympic slam. Kane superplexed him. Mark Henry hit a sudden splash, and he won. Finally, Mark Henry gets his first singles title in 9 years. And this was probably the first title he actually won. Was the match good? Not really. Obviously, I wasn't expecting it to be, although I liked some moves they pulled off. But the moment Mark won the title, it makes it worthwhile. Because this guy, Mark Henry, he's went to development like 3 times within the span of 10 years. And finally, he gets his moment to shine on pay-per-view. It was long overdue for him. Like, he suffered so many injuries and so many setbacks. They probably wanted to release him at one point, I believe, because they were overpaying him. They were paying him a little too much money. I believe they were paying him $1 million a year for 10 years, and they wanted to release him. But now, he finally got the moment to shine. He went on to have that ECW run with Tony Atlas, and I will cover it eventually. Backstage, John Cena and Batista were talking about their title matches when CM Punk from out of nowhere teased cashing in on one of them. The next match was for the World Tag Team Championships. Cody Rhodes and Hardcore Holly defended the titles against Ted DiBiase Jr. and his mystery partner. Out came Ted without his tag team partner. The story of this one, well, Ted promised to win the title, that's all. He debuted a month earlier, and his intentions, he wanted the gold. It's as simple as that. He wanted to win the gold in his very first match. As for his tag team partner, well, Ted revealed that they were going to have to wait 10 minutes for him to come out. The ref refused to delay the match, and Ted compromised by asking the ref to just ring the bell. When the bell rang, Ted demanded that he didn't want Cody Rhodes in the ring. He wanted Hardcore to enter the match. When he did, Cody from out of nowhere hit a DDT on him, and Ted DiBiase revealed his partner to be Cody Rhodes. He entered the ring and he locked Hardcore in the $1 Million Dream, shades of his father, and he hit a beta version of Dream Street. He had a damn Russian leg sweep. And that's the match. So Cody lost and won tag team titles. First time ever. Never seen that happen. Never thought of it at the moment. Also, DiBiase was probably the first person to win tag team gold in their debut up to that point. Priceless. Hardcore was starting to get older, and it didn't make sense to pair these two. I mean, they're both second and third generation stars. Hardcore ended up being MIA. He disappeared completely, and he was eventually released in January of 2009. Overall, not a match, more of an angle, and it was the right choice because those two, they meshed. Those two were perfect for each other. They were inexperienced. They had potential, and it made sense. Todd Grisham interviewed JBL in his luxury suite. JBL was complaining about not being featured on the pay-per-view, and Todd informed him that it was due to Bradshaw not being a champion, and he took it the wrong way. And the fans loudly chanted, "You suck, you suck," and JBL bragged about not going broke during the market crash and having a successful business during this time period. And since Mr. McMahon wasn't really in the WWE now, he was at the hospital, he's the current richest man in WWE. He took a jab at Mark Cuban and the Dallas Mavericks' failures. They won the title 2 years later. He made fun of the Dallas Cowboys' failures, choking to the New York Giants, and JBL stated that he's a Giants fan because that's his city now. New York is where he currently resides, and basically he trashed the city of Dallas and the state of Texas. He said that it's only a matter of time when he captures the world championship. That's a whole nother story for another day. CM Punk, we'll get to it eventually. The next match was for the Intercontinental Championship. Chris Jericho defended the gold against a surprise opponent. Y2J cut a promo before the match stating that he was coming out here to defend his title against a mystery opponent. He mentioned Shawn Michaels' eye injury, and he said that he actually wrestled with injuries, unlike Shawn Michaels. He said that the fans are undeserving of him wrestling because they weren't really appreciative of the fact that Y2J was a good man, I guess. He said that he wasn't here to save the fans, save us. He was here to save himself, and all of a sudden, Kofi Kingston interrupted. So, he's the mystery opponent. In the beginning, Jericho tried to draw Kofi to make mistakes. He slapped him, he was trying to out-wrestle him, and Kofi, though, he was unpredictable and straight to the point. He caught Jericho off guard on a few occasions, and he looked good out there. Jericho, though, was the veteran. He realized that he's got to keep Kofi grounded. One thing I noticed was that Chris Jericho was targeting the back, and the crowd was fully on Kofi's side. He struggled to get out of this rut, and his inexperience was Jericho's advantage. Every moment he tried making a comeback, Y2J thwarted the attack. He made one mistake, though, and Kofi finally started the comeback. Boom drop? Nope, but he got it on his second try. Chris Jericho tried slowing things down, and it did work for him. He hit the lion saw, and he locked Kofi in the walls of I believe that's a lion tamer, and look at Kofi's body. All of a sudden, Shawn Michaels appeared, and he super kicked Lance Cage. Jericho pushed him off the apron, but he ran straight into the trouble in paradise, and Kofi was champion. SOS. Shawn Michaels, though, he was a bit dizzy. He landed right on his eye again, and he pissed off Chris Jericho, tried to approach the HBK, and when he did, he delivered a right hand to Michaels' already injured eye. Anyways, the match wasn't noteworthy for the action. It was decent, not average. It was above average, but I like the story. Jericho tried to silence Kofi Kingston in the crowd. That would have worked, but Shawn Michaels got involved, and so he lost. This was Kofi Kingston's first title in WWE, so it ended up being a memorable match. This victory put him in the map, and if you didn't know him, now you did. Backstage, Edge listed a bunch of accomplishments to convince Hawkins and Ryder that he doesn't need anybody's help. And yes, without help, he's going to leave Batista bloody and empty-handed. The next match was for the WWE Women's Championship. Mickie James defended the gold against Katie Lee Burchill. Oh yeah, that Paul Burchill thing, I forgot about it. He came out to support his sister, and as for this one, in the beginning, Katie Lee was attempting to roll up Mickie a few times. This was because she had beaten Mickie 2 times previously. They did some wrestling for a few seconds. Mickie tried to pick up the pace. Paul provided a small distraction. Katie Lee tried to neutralize the arm. She kept Mickie James grounded, and the champion did try some of her explosive offense, but Katie Lee believed it was her night. At this point, Mickey's left arm was limp. She started to make a small comeback, but Katie locked her in an armbar. She continued to throw Mickey's left arm into the turnbuckle, but the champion caught her off guard with a DDT to retain the title. This one was good, in my opinion. I like the fact that Mickie sold the arm, made it seem like she was going to tap out, but she did it, and overall, Mickie was clutch and she was clinical. The one opportunity she got, she ended up making the most out of it, and she won. A good Divas match in an era which was lacking in good matches. The next match was for the World Heavyweight Championship. Edge defended the title against Batista. This was right when Edge was getting married to Vicky, episode review coming in a few weeks, hopefully. And this match in the main event, they were very unpredictable. We didn't know if Cena and Batista or Cena and Edge were going to win or retain. It was confusing. By the looks of it, the pay-per-view was sold on those two matches as a result, I guess. Like, if Edge retained, that would mean it was a foregone conclusion that Cena's winning the WWE title. Anyways, Batista was drafted to Raw the previous week, and this was his last chance at the World Heavyweight Championship. In the beginning, Batista overpowered Edge. The Rated R superstar used his brains, although that didn't really work out for him initially. Batista was rough, boots, jackhammers, and clotheslines. Edge, though, he proved to be the ultimate opportunist. He rammed Batista's shoulder right into the ring post, he drop-kicked him right over the announce table, and he was finally on the offense. Batista tried fighting back, but it didn't click at the moment. Edge was trying to wear down Batista with headlocks and drop toe holds, and seeing as he was at a disadvantage, Edge was doing pretty good right now. Every moment Batista tried bouncing back, Edge threw him right back down. But then the Animal's clothesline would change the complexion of the match. He started to fight back, and all of a sudden he had a spear on Edge. He had a power slam, and now it was time for the Batista bomb. Nope. Edge hit the Impaler DDT. He tried going for the spear, but the challenger countered, and Batista then went up top, and he was met with a dropkick. All of a sudden, La Familia made their way out there, and Edge attempted another spear. He missed, and Batista connected with the spinebuster. 1, 2, 3. What the hell? Vicky Guerrero pulled the ref from out the ring. Edge once again made a mistake, and then he decided to blast the referee. Vicky called for another referee, and it was Chavo Guerrero. JR couldn't believe this act of nepotism. Batista all of a sudden grabbed Vicky, and this was probably the most memorable moment of the match. He lifted her in press slam position and threw her right into La Familia. Edge, though, caught Batista off guard with the title, and Chavo counted the fall. 1, 2, 3, and that's all she wrote. The crowd was really into it by the end, and so was I. I prefer this match to the Vengeance one because of the unpredictable nature of it, I guess. The Vicky spot made the crowd go crazy, and I love the atmosphere, I guess. Overall, the best match for me up to this point. For some reason, Batista and Edge's matches, they're weaker than the Batista and Taker or Undertaker Edge matches. I don't know why. They're good, but they're not that great level. Like, they're not classics like the Undertaker and Edge, Batista and Undertaker, you know. For some reason, they're never classics. They're good. They're just good. Backstage, Triple H let Todd Grisham know that he's going to do what he should have done 2 years ago, and that's beat John Cena. In the main event, Triple H defends the WWE Championship against John Cena. They promoted this match in a similar way to the greatest match ever, except it wasn't billed as that. It had this big fight feeling, and it felt like a WrestleMania main event. Oh, wait. Anyways, like I said earlier, it was the perfect WWE main event. The atmosphere, the backstory, the wrestlers, all of that. Now all they had to do was put up or shut up. I really like how both men were babyfaces, as that doesn't really happen that often when two good guys main events. I assume people thought Cena was going to win, and I can't really remember, but since Edge retained, they probably believed he would finally regain the title. In the beginning, Triple H out-wrestled John Cena, putting him in his place. Cena, though, recovered, and he relied on power. They taunted one another, they brawled, and this greatly benefited Cena. Triple H, though, had Cena scouted. The champion tried to neutralize Cena's back with backbreakers, elbows, ramming Cena into the turnbuckles, and John struggled to get back into it, but after countering Triple H's aerial move, he was back. Triple H, though, he was a student of the game. Knees, rights. It was back and forth. And at one moment, Triple H hit the knee. The next, Cena hit a facebuster and a leg drop. He finally got the chance to hit Five Knuckle Shuffle, but that didn't happen because he wasted a lot of time placating to the audience. He seemed like he was forgetting just who he was in the ring with. But luck would be on John's side as Triple H hurt his leg. John Cena went for chop blocks. He rammed the leg into the steel post, and Triple H realized Cena was looking for the STFU. Despite all of this, he had a sudden pedigree. 1, 2, no. It took him a couple of seconds to cover Cena, and that's what cost him. I mean, it wasn't 23 seconds, it was more like 2. Cena bounced back by hitting the FU. 1, 2, Triple H kicked out. Lawler said that Cena didn't have enough velocity due to Triple H's work on the back earlier. They then exchanged blows. Boo, yeah, boo, yeah, boo, yeah, boo, yeah, yeah. And all of a sudden, Cena slammed Triple H right down to the mat and hit the 5 Knuckle Shuffle. They then countered each other's finishers before Cena locked Triple H in the SCFU. The game had already tapped out to the moves 2 years earlier, and it seemed like that would be the case now, but he countered it into the crossface. Cena's on the jaws of defeat, but he had enough strength to lift Triple H in FU position, and he didn't get to hit it because Triple H escaped and hit the pedigree. 1, 2, 3. Damn, what a match. Really fun. It was the blueprint for a WWE main event. Obviously, it wasn't the best match ever, or even the best match of 2008 to many, but it had a special feeling to it for me. Triple H sold that knee, John Cena capitalized on that injury, the good guy versus good guy thing, which is a pretty rare sight to see, and overall, I would say this was way better than the WrestleMania 22 match. John Cena from then, WrestleMania 22, he really improved in the ring. And Triple H, well, this was his moment to, get a decent run with the title, I guess. And yeah, that's not a Champions. Overall, it was a good pay-per-view. There was only 1 week match, and even that wasn't really that weak. I recommend you guys watch this one if you want to. It's a fun way to just spend 2.5 hours watching something, yeah. Main event, I really loved it, and it's one of my favorite Triple H and John Cena matches. I think that's enough for 2008 for now. I'll return in 2008 in a couple of weeks, hopefully with the week WWE went PG, the Great American Bash, and probably that Edge and Vicky wedding thing, that stuff. Overall, Night of Champions, very enjoyable pay-per-view. So yeah, and that's it for this video. Make sure you hit a pedigree on the like button, and perhaps the FU on the subscribe button. Peace, I'm out.